Hello, I'm Libby with Portland Nursery,
I'm Andy with Portland Nursery.
and today we're going to be talking about tree planting techniques.
We're going to show you how to plant 3 different types of trees today. We're going to do a bare root planting, we're going to do a container ground planting, and we're going to do a ball and burlap planting.
Yeah, the three styles of trees that you typically would see at our nursery would be a bare root. So that's where the grower ships it to us with no dirt, and then we process it and put it in a container. And then container grown would be where it's grown from our vendors in a container, and it's shipped rooted into that container. The third style would be B&B or burlap ball, where that is grown in a field, and those vendors go and dig that tree up and put it in a burlap ball and ship it to us. Yeah, so typically when you purchase bare root, it's real common that when you take it out of the container, a lot of that dirt is going to fall away from that root zone. So what we're going to be looking for today is seeing if there's any damaged or broken roots, and we'd be removing them at that time. We also want to identify the root flare. So that's going to be underneath the graft, the bigger portion of the trunk there, where those side roots are connected.
So the second tree planting we're going to look at today is container grown plant. When you take the tree out of the container, it should have a really nice, well-established root system going on. Not too compact. The soil shouldn't really fall away from the actual root system itself. That's why it should be well-established. You want to look out for spiraling or root-bound situations. That is where the root system is just too compact, may have been in the container for a couple of years, so it's actually too tight. That's something we need to address if you see that. Second thing to look for is the actual root flare, which you'll find on the very top of the plant. Maybe you need to pull back some of the soil back here so you can actually see where the top of the root system is connecting to the main stem. And this is your root flare and your planting level.
The third style of tree that we're going to be planting today is a B&B or a burlap ball. So when you pop this out of the container, the roots should still be encased in the burlap. What we're going to be doing is cutting away the twine, pulling back that burlap, and we're going to be identifying the root flare. All right, so we have removed the twine and we have pulled back the burlap, and we have removed some dirt here so that we can easily identify that root flare. That's where this big root attaches to the base of the trunk. At the time of planting, we do recommend that you leave the burlap intact so that way it can contain the ball. The burlap is biodegradable and will decompose over time.
So the next phase of planting the tree is going to be determining the size, the width, and the depth of the hole that we're going to use. That is determined by identifying the top of the root flare and the base of the root system. That will be the depth for all 3 of these trees. The actual width of the hole will be determined again by the top of the root flare, the depth of the root systems, and then we're going to times that by 2, and that will be the width of the hole we're going to dig.
All right, so we've already dug our hole. We're going to go ahead and take a step ahead, and we are going to add some organic transplant fertilizer to our backfill. The backfill is going to be the soil that was removed from the hole. Remember when using fertilizers that you're following the directions. And our backfill is going to be some of the soil that we'll put around the tree after we place it. So we're going to be planting our bare root tree. A few things to keep in mind when planting a bare root is that it's real important to keep those roots kind of flared out. So we have made a mound in here, or a volcano, that we're going to be actually resting our root zone on at the time of planting.
So this is our ball and burlap planting. As you can see, we have the hole dug to the correct depth and the width based on the root flare to the bottom of the root zone. When you're planting ball and burlap, you do want to peel back the burlap. Very important. It's going to expose our root flare, which is also our guide for the planting depth. At this stage, you just want to leave the burlap on. The burlap and the twine, in this case, is biodegradable, so no need to remove that, and we suggest that you don't actually do that.
This is our container tree. As you can see, we do have it at the proper depth and width. At the time of planting, you do want to examine that root zone. And if there's any roots that are twisting or girdling, if you're able to kind of pull those open and kind of flare them out, and if not, there might be some bigger roots that need to be removed. This one looks pretty good, so we are going to give it a nice massage on the side. That will help encourage some healthy root development.
So the final stage of planting a tree, we have gone ahead and staked it. We have done this for a number of reasons. One of them can be that your tree is actually quite top heavy, literally, so it's going to secure it by staking it. You could be in a high traffic location, or you could be in a very windy location, so it's important to secure your tree.
Yeah, we've also added mulch around the tree. The mulch serves for a few things. One would be water retention, and then also insulating those roots during hot and cold temperatures.
Final stage is going to be give your tree a good water, get all that loose soil around those root systems.
Yeah, and if you're interested, you can find more information at our tree planting page at portlandnursery.com.